Let me hit you right between the eyes with this. Nobody cares about your excuses. Nobody is coming to save you. The world isn't going to pause just because you're tired, hurt, or frustrated. The world doesn't care if you're sad, if you're broke, if you're behind. It only responds to results. And that's not cruel. It's empowering. Because when you realize that nobody cares, you finally give yourself permission to stop waiting for sympathy and start building strength. You stop seeking validation and you start creating transformation. You want to win, then here's the truth you've got to swallow, whether it's bitter or not. Nobody owes you anything, and that's the best news of all, because it means everything you want is up to you. And if it's up to you, then guess what? You're not a victim, you're a creator. Let's go deep on that first truth, because it's the foundation. Most people walk around thinking someone's going to understand them, feel sorry for them, and give them a break. You don't need a break. You need a breakthrough, and breakthroughs come from pressure, not pity. If you're waiting for someone to get your story, you'll wait forever. Your story isn't supposed to be understood by everyone. It's supposed to be rewritten by you. And how do you rewrite it? With action, with effort, with obsession. You don't need people to understand how tired you are, how hard it is, how unfair it feels. You need to outwork your situation. Outlast your circumstances, outgrow your excuses. The moment you say nobody cares, and say it with power, not self-pity, that's when everything changes. That's when your brain switches from victim mode to warrior mode. And warriors don't whine, they win. Understand this. The moment you stop chasing sympathy, you become unstoppable. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You create the outcome no matter what the conditions are. Because you're the one writing your legacy, and the pen is in your hands, not someone else's. So stop waiting, stop hoping, and start working harder, smarter, louder, because nobody cares. And that's your greatest advantage. Every single person on this planet experiences pain. Emotional pain, physical pain, financial pain. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise is not the pain itself. It's what they do with it. Pain is the most powerful fuel on earth. If you know how to use it, but if you let it control you, if you allow it to dictate your decisions, your mindset, your story, then pain becomes your prison. You lock yourself inside a cycle of blame, regret, fear, and doubt. And what you could have used to grow, you now use to justify staying small. But here's what the great ones do differently. They convert pain into power. They don't run from it. They don't numb it. They face it. They mine it. They learn from it. They say, this thing that tried to break me, I'm going to use it to build myself. That kind of thinking, that mindset is where transformation is born. See, your pain is not the enemy. Your response to it is. Most people think that pain means stop, that hardship is a sign to quit, but pain is not a signal to stop, it's a signal to grow. The universe is asking you, are you serious about what you said you wanted? Because you don't get dreams for free. You get dreams with demand, you get visions with a cost, and pain is the price tag for purpose. So what do? You flip the script. You say, this pain is mine, I earned it, and I will use it to drive me, not define me. You lift heavier. You go longer. You get up one more time than you fall. And with every setback, every heartbreak, every rejection, you stack it as fuel, fuel to build discipline, fuel to prove that nothing and no one can break your spirit. Because once you realize your pain is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Everything changes. Your pain becomes your teacher, your training ground, and eventually, it becomes your testimony. That's how you become unstoppable, not by avoiding pain, but by mastering it. Your pain is either your prison or your power, and that decision is 100% yours. Let me be straight with you. Motivation is a spark, not a strategy. It gets you fired up for a moment, but it fades. That feeling you get when you watch a video, hear a great quote, or listen to someone like me speak. Yeah, that feeling's temporary. It's like caffeine. It'll wake you up, but it won't keep you moving when life knocks you down. You know what will? Massive, consistent, relentless action. Too many people get addicted to the feeling of motivation. They chase the next high. They write goals, they talk big, they get hyped. But when the real work starts, when it's boring, uncomfortable, painful, they quit. Why? Because they never trained themselves to move no matter how they feel. And that's the secret right there. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll lose to the person who acts when they're tired, angry, broke, and unmotivated. Success doesn't care if you're in the mood. Growth doesn't wait until you're inspired and the life you dream about. It doesn't come with a motivational soundtrack playing in the background. It comes when you build the discipline to show up day after day after day, no matter what. You've got to build the muscle of execution. Motivation might get you to the gym once. Discipline gets you there every day. Motivation might get you to start the business. Consistent action is what builds it into something real. You don't need more motivation. You need a routine. You need rituals. You need to train your mind and your body to move forward whether you feel like it or not. And let me tell you something else. Motivation often shows up after you start moving, not before. You don't wait to feel ready. You act. And then you get momentum. You move. And then you get clarity. You push through the resistance. And then you feel proud. That's how this game works. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop chasing the emotional high. Build a system, build habits. Build a mindset that says, I move no matter what. Because if you can do that, you'll separate yourself from 99% of people who only move when it's easy. Motivation is nice, but action is what changes your life. Let's get something clear. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. People might listen to your reasons, but they only respect your result. You can have the most tragic backstory, the most legitimate excuses, the most understandable failures, but at the end of the day, none of that gets you to the finish line. Only results do. Look, we all go through stuff. Life hits hard, you lose people, you get betrayed, you run out of money, you get sick, you feel overwhelmed. That's life. It's messy, unpredictable, and often unfair. But if you want to win in this world, if you want to stand on stages, build empires, lead teams, or just provide the life your family deserves, you have to stop expecting people to care about your why and start delivering the what. Results talk. They speak louder than your struggles, louder than your story, louder than your pain. When you walk into a room with results, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify where you came from. Your results do the talking. Now, don't get me wrong. Your reasons matter to you. They matter when you're grinding in silence, when nobody's watching, when it's just you vs. the inner voice telling you to quit. Your reasons are fuel, but don't mistake your personal motivation for public validation. The marketplace, the world, doesn't pay for your journey. It pays for your impact. The top performers in any field, sports, business, health, art, they all have a common trait: they deliver. They may have had it harder than you, but they turned their reasons into rocket fuel. They didn't talk about what they were going to do. They showed up. They executed. They delivered results that could not be ignored. So here's the truth. Stop telling your story like it's a shield. Stop leaning on your reasons like they're achievements. Turn them into firepower. Let your work be louder than your wounds. Let your output drown out your obstacles. And when you get to that level, where your results speak louder than your words, that's when people start to pay attention. Because in the end, people don't remember what you went through. They remember what you built despite. You will never feel like doing what it takes every single day. And guess what? That's normal. Your brain was not built for greatness. It was built for survival. It wants comfort, safety, routine. It wants you to hit snooze, take the easy route, avoid the pain. But if you're serious about success, you don't negotiate with your feelings. You dominate them. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's waking up at 5 a.m. when every cell in your body says just 10 more minutes. It's making the sales calls, lifting the weight, writing the pages, showing up to the meeting. Not because you're in the mood, but because it's what needs to be done. Discipline is the difference between knowing and becoming. We live in a world that glorifies feelings. Do what feels right. Follow your heart. Listen to your energy. But let me tell you something. Your destiny is built by discipline, not by feelings. You don't need to feel like a beast to train like one. You just need to commit. And commitment doesn't ask for comfort. It demands consistency. People who rely on motivation are inconsistent. They're up one day, down the next. Their progress is emotional, not strategic. But people who build discipline, they're machines. They move forward whether it's sunny or raining, whether they're tired or energized, whether people are clapping for them or criticizing them. And that is why they win. They don't depend on the perfect day. They create progress no matter what day it is. The most successful people in the world are not the most talented. They're the most trained. They've trained their minds to be stronger than their moods. They've trained their bodies to perform under pressure. And they've trained their hearts to stay focused when the world throws distractions, failures, and delays. So stop asking yourself how you feel. Start asking yourself what needs to be done. You're not here to be controlled by your emotions. You're here to use them. You're here to command yourself into action. And every time you act when you don't feel like it, you build muscle. Mental muscle, emotional muscle, leadership muscle, and eventually you don't just win a moment. You win your life. Discipline beats feelings. And when you master that truth, you become unstoppable. Legacy isn't built on Instagram. It's not built by likes, shares, or applause. It's built in the dark when no one's watching. While others are partying, scrolling, complaining, or sleeping, you're out there building. That's how the greats are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, in the quiet hours, where sacrifice becomes standard and effort becomes identity. You see, most people want the rewards without the routine. They want the destination without the discipline. But true legacy, the kind that echoes long after you're gone, is forged through years of invisible work, not glamorous, not sexy, just raw, focused, relentless effort. When everyone else clocks out, you're clocking in. When everyone else is chasing comfort, you're chasing greatness. And here's the truth. Nobody will clap for you in the beginning. Nobody will understand why you're obsessed, why you don't sleep in, why you skip the parties, why you say no to things they say yes to. That's because legacy doesn't start with noise, it starts with commitment. The kind of commitment that makes you dangerous, the kind that makes your future undeniable, even when your present looks average. The world loves to celebrate the results, but it never sees the process. It never sees the late nights, the early mornings, the missed birthdays, the tears behind closed doors. But you see them, you live them. And that's what sets you apart, because while others wait to be seen, you focus on becoming worth seeing. Grinding in silence means you don't need validation. You don't need cheers. You don't need someone to pat you on the back. Your vision is loud enough. Your purpose is strong enough. You're not working for attention. You're working for impact. And impact isn't always instant, but it's always worth it. So keep building, keep sweating, keep rising before the sun and staying long after everyone else quits. Because when the world finally sees what you've created, when they wonder how you did it, the answer will be simple. I built my legacy while you slept. And that legacy, that's what lives on forever.